Hope everybody's having a great weekend. This is Victory with another Epic 7 video. Today we are going to be talking about pets. So let's just go right to the pet house. What I'm going to talk about is basically how I would recommend and how I am investing in pets in the earlier stages of the game. And then kind of what the pets are that I think are the most useful. Basically, I think there are 3 to 4 pets that you really want to have over the course of the game. And yeah, let's talk about what they are. So to begin with, for those of you who may not be familiar with the system, pets are basically a way to get little quality of life improvements in what you're doing in the game. There are 2 kinds. You can have a pet that sits in your lobby. You can have one pet that sits in your lobby and it'll give you a gift every day, and it gives you some kind of bonuses on things that you do in the lobby, like selling equipment, upgrading equipment, and so forth. Then you can have battle pets, and you can have as many battle pets as you have teams, essentially. But I would say that you only need 2 or 3, and we'll talk about what those are. But the battle pets basically just give you bonus loot as you are battling. So pets have different grades of skills. You can enhance them, you can synthesize them. We'll get into all of that. The main thing I want to talk about here is when to start thinking about pets, and then what to aim for, and then kind of, it's going to be hard to explain this, but how hard to invest in pets at various stages of the game. Okay, so just to begin with that, in the early game, like let's say you're working on your adventurer's path, I would recommend ignoring pets entirely. In fact, I don't remember when exactly the pet house unlocks. It's at a certain player rank, but if the pet house hasn't unlocked, of course you're going to ignore pets. And even after it does, you probably don't want to worry about pets for a little bit yet. Maybe you just, the free pets that they give you, you throw one of those into your lobby and you throw one onto all your teams. I think they give you a pretty decent 2-star battle pet at the beginning of your pet adventure, and that one works really well. If I remember right, it gives you some pretty good skills that you can just kind of throw on your teams right away and then forget about it, right? That's how I would advise approaching pets early in the game, is just use what they give you and don't worry about it. Okay, in the mid-game, and by mid-game I would say, you're working through the last bits of unrecorded history, you're working through maybe your 3rd or 4th 6-star, you're starting to finish up your Wyvern team, and maybe you've gotten to Wyvern 11. This is when maybe you want to start thinking about having multiple 2nd generation pets, in my mind, okay? You probably will have been doing the free pet draws for a bit, and maybe you have some decent ones. In my personal opinion, anything B or above is fine for setting up your pets. And then, eventually, obviously, you're going to want everything to be S rank, because that is the best skill. But it's not something that I would say you want to cripple yourself with by holding out for. It's not something that you want to blow a bunch of resources trying to get. It's something that you have as a long-term goal. Like, I'm gonna set up this pet with like S and A skills now, and maybe if there's a B skill but it's exactly the skill I need, I'll use it. That's kind of the mentality that I approach pets with, is I'll take a B, but I really want an A, and if I get an S, that's amazing, and I will take it, right? But of course, not every skill that a pet can have is created equal. So let's start with the lobby pet, because this is the one you only get one of. And in my mind, there are basically 4 skills for lobby pets that matter. Okay, and there are 6 different types. I think you can only have like 3, maybe 4 skills on a pet. I think it's 3. But basically, if you are going to pick 3 skills, these are the ones you want, okay? They are increased equipment enhance experience, decreased equipment enhance cost, and then one of the 3 underneath that. So if you see on this list, that first one, hero enhance experience, ignore it. That is totally worthless, in my mind, okay? You should be selling penguins once you get out of like the mid game. You should be selling all your penguins as soon as you get out of mid game. Like once you can farm Wyvern 11, you have no further use for penguins. You can just sell all of them regardless. The only time when penguins have ever come into play for me after like my first or second 6-star is right now. There is a web event going on where you have to enhance a hero 3 times a day to get the web event stuff. And it's extremely annoying, but I'm using penguins for that. When this web event is over, I am not going to use penguins again. I'm going to sell them all. Because gold to me is more important than hero enhance XP. You just get hero enhance XP from playing the game. You don't need to use penguins to get that experience. Okay, so that's that. Anyway, equipment enhance experience and equipment enhance cost, on the other hand, I would say are the best 2 skills you can have on your lobby pet. And I would say if you are in the mid game or the late game, if you have 2 pets with those skills, get them to generation 2, synthesize them together, and get those 2 skills on a single pet, just like Blueberry here. Okay, so Blueberry's got both of those 2 skills. I am totally willing to accept an A on one of them because it's still such a great boost to being able to enhance more equipment. You know, I'm getting a discounted cost on the gold, I'm getting a discounted cost on the amount of fodder that I gotta use, and it all just works together beautifully. Okay, so now there is a secret technique, maybe it's not so secret, but there's a technique you can use to simulate having an extra skill on your lobby pet. Here's what I mean. I have this guy down here, Constantine the 6th, and he has the gold earned from selling equipment skill on him. So when I collect my daily gift from Blueberry, if I have a bunch of equipment that I need to sell, I immediately grab my gift, switch to Constantine in the lobby, sell my equipment, and switch right back to Blueberry. The time that it takes for my gift to reappear has not been affected by more than a few seconds, because that's the thing about the lobby pets that kind of screws you, is if you switch lobby pets, it resets your gift timer, and you get a gift every 20-something hours, right? But if I know that I'm going to need to sell equipment, I just keep Constantine on hand, and when I grab my daily gift, I switch to him, sell my stuff, switch back to Blueberry, boom. Now, instead of having to worry about, oh man, I gotta somehow find space for this gold skill, I'm not going to worry about this, ever. Probably never going to worry about it. I am just going to keep Constantine forever unless I get an S-rank version of him. I'm going to switch to him when I want to sell gear and then switch right back to my main lobby pet. So that's how you can have an extra skill on your lobby pet. Eventually I'm going to put this one on Blueberry because I have it. But I would say whether you get the good success chance or the great success chance, about the same. I think they're both good. I don't think you would want both of them. I think that the 2 that I have on Blueberry here are better than those 2, but I would say that those 2 are about the same. So whichever one that you get an S of first, or an A in my case, use it, okay? But that would be the 3rd skill you put on your lobby pet. And it's not, again, it's not something I'm gonna rush. You know, I've got him sitting here, that's fine. When I get around to it and I draw enough pet fodder from the daily free summon, I will make him then. I am not gonna rush it. I need that gold and those sky stones for other things. Okay? So that's the lobby pet. Next up is the altar pet. And before I get too deep into the altar pet, let's just look at the battle pet skills. And then you can kind of see where I'm coming from on skill types. Okay, so battle pet skills basically fall into 3 categories. And you can see it out in the parentheses at the end of each skill type. You got side story adventure, and there's 1, 2, 3 of those kind of skills. Okay, then you got altar, and there's 3 of those kind of skills. And you can see them here. Then you got your hunt, and there are 3 hunt skills. So that makes your battle pets really self-explanatory. Rather than trying to make a single battle pet that has like the best of each skill, just make 3 pets and give them 2 of those 3 skills. And so that's 3 Generation 2 pets, which Generation 2 pets are really easy to make. You just slap 2 Generation 2 pets together that have the skills that you want, and then you've got a really good pet for that game mode. And you know what? You can throw the 3rd skill on it later if you really want. Let's talk about them. I was going to do the Ultra Pet, but let's talk about the Adventure Pet first. This is my Adventure Pet, my Speedy Angara. Hey, little chubby wolf guy. And I have the Rare Catalyst and the double AP on him. Okay? Now, those are 2 of 3. The other type that I could have gotten on him is increased event currency. Okay, so you can see that side story, adventure, side story, you get Rare Catalyst, double AP, or event currency. I personally feel like if I'm running an event, yeah, it's nice to get event currency. It does save energy, and eventually I want it. But if I'm running an adventure side story, AP allows me to get more catalysts faster, right? And the same thing with receiving an additional catalyst, obviously. I think Catalyst is the best skill of those 3, and I think AP is just slightly better than event currency because events tend to have really nice drop rates on things anyway. So if I'm running an event, I don't mind spending more energy in the event, because more energy spent in the event means more of the good drops that come out of the event. Whereas in adventure, the drops are fine. We'll say the drops are fine, but if I'm farming an AP shop in adventure, I want to get that done as quickly as possible. And so in my mind, the double AP is a little bit better than the increased event currency, even though double AP is more RNG, because I want to run events. I want the drops from events. They have better drops in my mind than adventure, and so I don't mind spending more energy there. I do eventually want to save myself energy just because energy is so valuable, but that's the 3rd skill I'll put on my Speedy Angar, okay? And for now, I'm okay with the B because that's the best I've drawn. I'll upgrade it later. Hopefully I will get an S on that. But I thought it was so important to just have it that I took the B so that I could have this pet up and running. So that's that. Next up, we'll do the Ultra Pet. This is my Ultra Pet. And I do a lot of specialty changes. So the Ultra Pet to me was really important to have. And I think that the common and the greater runes, again, because I do specialty changes, I can turn common runes into greater runes. And specialty changes require so many greater runes that I want them even more than I want epic runes. So again, eventually, I'm going to put an epic rune skill on this Mint Yoki, but these are the 2 that I want right now, and then I'll get that epic rune later. Because the way that I'm doing this account, I'm working up my PvE heroes early on, and they're all low rarity heroes. They're pretty much all exclusively 3 stars except for like Mercedes. And then I have a long-term, like a Hell Raid team. It's a little bit different than my normal raid team that is going to be some 4-star heroes. But for now, I don't need epic runes for very much. But I know I will need them in the long run, so I'm going to try to get them on this Mint Yoki eventually. But these are the first 2 I want, and then I want the epic runes later on. I got pretty lucky with these 2 skills. Okay, so that's the Altar. Then Hunt, let's look at the 3 Hunt skills, because they're a little bit more complicated. They're a little weird, honestly, I think. You have double crafting materials, that makes sense. Additional equipment, that makes sense. That, to me, is the really big one. Actually, I think Damone Kim just put out a video where he talked about how valuable the charm is as well. I think he's spot on. Charm is super good. The equipment, I think, is just as good as the charm, if not more so, because the way that I see managing your gold, a lot of players complain about having gold problems. I think it's because they craft too much equipment, okay? So on the Hunt, I actually don't care about the double crafting materials skill at all, because I only want to be crafting as a last resort if I couldn't get what I needed from farming. So I want to have a pet that has the additional piece of equipment right away. I want that on every hunt that I do. Thankfully, the little free pet that they gave you had that on him already. So I've got that skill. I want to get it to S. That's my top priority skill for hunt, is equipment. Then I definitely want that hunt pet to have the charm skill as well. And then, honestly, I am not going to worry about double crafting materials. I don't need that many crafting materials because I'm only going to craft as a last resort. I'm going to farm first, and then if there's like one more piece that I need for this set, I'm going to craft that. That's how I want to treat farming for hunt equipment versus crafting hunt equipment. And that, I think, helps your gold stay higher, because when you hunt, you get gold. When you craft, you lose gold, right? So you can maintain an equilibrium and maybe even gain a little gold if all you're doing is hunting and then enhancing the good stuff you get from your hunt. If you're crafting a lot on top of that, you then have an endless gold deficit that you can just never get out of because you're relying on crafting, and crafting is expensive. So is enhancing, but one of them you can handle. Both of them I don't think you can. It's just not the way the game is set up. So that's how I'm going to do my hunt pet, and right now this is my hunt pet. Literally, he's the free pet that I got. You can see he's got the one that matters to me, which is the hunt. I want to get him up to S on that. I've been having really bad luck with getting hunt skills to drop on my battle pets. So sooner or later I'm going to get him, but he's my last priority one because I'm running Alter now. I'm not running Wyvern 11 yet. I need to think about how I'm going to make him better soon, though, because I think next week I'm going to start trying to run Hunt 11. But anyway, that's my thoughts on pets. I hope that has helped you guys. I would personally recommend, as far as the pet shop, to use the pet shop sparingly. I think the food is good to get if you are currently working on a pet. I wouldn't get it like every week. I think the toy you do want to get every week because the toy basically makes your skills better over time. So just grab it every week. Homemade snacks, depends on your playstyle. I personally play a lot of what I call pocket auto, where I just put it on auto with repeat battle setup, throw it in my pocket, and then pick it up later on. That is how I'm able to do a lot of stuff with a full-time job and a wife and kids. If I didn't have homemade snacks and pocket auto, I would not be playing this game, period. So to me, the homemade snacks are invaluable, but to you, maybe if you've got a lot of spare time and you like to play on manual, homemade snacks are not important, so just save those friendship points for friendship summons instead, but definitely get the toy. Personally, when I was setting up my pets, I'll just say it, I blew 2,000 Skystones on pet adoption tickets. Because I didn't want to spend the gold. You can see I try to keep it between $1 million and $2 million gold all the time. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot of Skystones, and I don't want to spend Skystones as a habit on pets. But that 2,000 investment got me all of the pets that I needed to get running, which is what you see here: Blueberry, Yogi, Angara, and Flagon. That's what I got. Hello, child. And that's my thoughts on pets. So, my kid just showed up. I'm gonna end the video here. I hope this helps you think about pets. Please leave me a comment on how you do your pets, and have a great weekend, everybody. Victory out.